Hello, it is Foundation Friday, November 10th, 2017. Happy Veterans Day, everybody. Out and about, so I don't have a rhino of the day with me. I didn't plan on shooting the video here, but this is a teachable moment. So I went to the post office to mail this letter by certified mail. It's going to an attorney, which we all love dealing with attorneys, don't we? But this thing has to go by certified mail. So I went to the local post office, and what do you know? I had to call ahead because today's this federal holiday. Hey, Patrick Keenis here, and Jim, good seeing you. So thinking they might be closed today for the Veterans Day holiday, but they are. The post office said we're open. So great. So, you know, I got as much done as I could get done of my to-do list for the week ending and doing all kinds of stuff today before I said, okay, now I better get over there. Before they close at 5 o'clock, and went up there, and oops, they close at 4:30. So post office closed at 4:30 on the Friday. Not a problem, though, I say. There's a card store in town that I know they also do postal services. They're only less than a mile away. And I'm like, let's go over there. And, you know, you can see we're live here. Maybe it's now 5 o'clock, but it wasn't 5 o'clock yet. We come over to this local card store, and here we are. And the store is called technically, well, maybe I shouldn't say, but yeah, there it is, Card Smart. Oh, what an ironic name. So it's called Smart, but they're not being that smart here, because as I come up and I see that, like, oh, store hours, same as the post office. So post office hours are, I don't know, half an hour different on a Saturday, whatever. But like, okay, so we were too late for the post office. However, we did come over here, and we could have bought other stuff in the store. We would have walked in the store, walked all the way. I know the post office counter's in the back, and I would have said, hey, I want to mail this return receipt certified mail, and they would have said, oh, sorry, post office hours end at 4:30. However, now we're in the store, and now we might buy some stuff. So here's the lesson learned. Like, when your competitor, in this case a post office, is another post office, and I'm guessing they can't have their postal services open later than the regular post office, probably something to do with the pickup and what time everything has to be done. But they can capitalize saying, hey, there's some traffic going to come on over here, like we just did. And I have a feeling we're not the only ones that ever say, hey, 4:30, this thing closed, let's scoot on over to the card store. And the card store ought to be open to take advantage of the post office driving traffic over here. Is that too convoluted, or does that make sense? And then it's in a strip plaza here where there are restaurants and a pizza place and all kinds of stuff around. So now my beautiful wife Michelle is here with me, might say, hey, you know, we might as well, why don't we go out to dinner? Here's Rosati's Pizza from our days up in Chicago. What do you know? Did you know that? There's a Rosati's Pizza there? I did not know that. Half Price Tuesday, my beautiful wife Michelle says, because she always knows where the deals are, and she loves Rosati's Pizza. So knowing my beautiful wife Michelle, she would say now on a Friday evening, like, hey, why don't we go out to eat? And we go out to eat here. So somebody else in this plaza is smart enough to take advantage of the traffic coming over from the closed post office, coming over here and going, oh, this thing's closed, but hey, now that we're here, let's go get our nails done, or go to the pizza place, or go to wherever we want to go. So there's the lesson. If your competition is making a mistake and will not provide a certain service, or is not open on a certain day or a certain time, or doesn't take credit cards, or doesn't accept payments over time, or whatever they're not doing, you want to say, what an opportunity to jump in and be the solution to all the people that's going to cause a problem for. Makes sense? So we call this opportunity gap thinking. You look for a gap in between what's being offered by your competitors and what your prospect would like to have. Okay, if there's a gap that you can find in there, in this case it's hours of business. It could also be lines of business, types of things sold in a store. Again, whether you take different payment methods, whether they can get things online on the computer as opposed to having it come in person. Any gap between something that is being offered, but there's a gap between that and what your prospects actually want, but your competitors aren't, there's a gap you can jump into there. Okay, and no one, this place at least, not smart enough to jump into that gap that's saying, hey, between 4:30 and 5 o'clock, I'll bet there's going to be a number of people that come over here from time to time thinking post office closed. Let's go to this one, and at least let's get them to buy some Hallmark stuff or whatever the heck is sold, other gift items in the store. By the way, there's a confusing sign that my beautiful wife Michelle explained to me, like you don't see this often, a sign on the door that just says we're not closing. I'm like, but you're closed. So, but you know, we're not closing as in like we're not closing permanently. I'm like, what kind of sign is that? My beautiful wife Michelle explains to me, because she goes to these networking things in the chamber and whatever. She's up on what's happening in the town, and she's like, yeah, they were going to close. They had a sign on the store on the door they were closing. Hey, thanks for all those likes. Oh, who is it? Brett Olaya is here. So they were had a sign on the door saying they were closing, and then a angel buyer came in and bought the place, and now they're not going to be closing. But I'm like, you think they might explain that to mere humans like me that don't know what we're not closing might mean? It might say new ownership. We're not closing after all, or something like that. Or, hey, we're staying, how about saying it positively? Like, hey, we got new ownership, so good news, we're staying open to serve you. Something like that, instead of just this angry, we're not closing sign. But anyway, that's it for Day at the Card Smart with the not so smart, now the new owner. And what if the new owner sees this video? Maybe the new owner might understand that there's an opportunity here, might jump into the gap and be open a little bit later. By the way, there also happens to be an art festival in town here today, which there are during the beautiful weather time of year, that for those of you watching this from wherever else you're watching it, might not be, but here it's spectacular 80 perfect degrees. And there is the streets are closed, and the street people are walking all over the place and going to the art festival, and all the parking lots are closed and full. And if I turn this around, you see people are parked way up on the street. And oh, and there's my beautiful wife Michelle. Hello. And but you see the streets are all closed and the parking lots are full and whatever. So like, you might think they might want to be open a little later. There are thousands of people coming here for this festival from all around. Again, opportunity missed. That's another lesson for another day, but that should be an obvious one, right? If there's a festival in your town bringing in thousands of people and you sell gifts and knickknacks and whatever, you might want to be open for them. Okay, that's it for Foundation Friday, November 10th, 2017, Veterans Day. Much, much, much absolutely bottomless thanks to all the veterans out there currently serving, past serving, and of course those that gave the ultimate sacrifice so that we could have the freedom to walk around in this beautiful weather in this beautiful country and go to closed places and not get our business done that we wanted. So Brett Olaya says, art festival, good time to be open, correct? And we're not closing is kind of hilarious, especially when they're closed now or when there's no explanation what the heck that means. Anyway, thanks for all those likes coming across the screen. Thanks for everyone being here in person, watching on the replay. I'll be back tomorrow with Success Story Saturday, and I have a feeling I'll be coming to you live from the 7th Annual World Polo Championships that are going to be held right here at Westworld in Scottsdale, Arizona. People coming in from all over the world for what is called Scottsdale's most beautiful event. And there are a lot of big events going on in Scottsdale all the time, so that's really saying something. So we'll be there with the beautiful people, hobnobbing around and hanging out at the Polo Championships tomorrow. And I have a feeling I'll find somebody there or something to talk about for Success Story Saturday. So thanks for being here today. Brett Olaya, I think that's you with all the likes, and I always hate to shut this thing down when all the likes are coming flying across the screen, but I have a feeling one of us has to stop, and it isn't going to be you. So I appreciate it, and I'll be back tomorrow with Success Story Saturday. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.